but you gave me the heads up. This one of them days. I ended up making you laugh. I wasn't trying to do that, but after a while, I said, I respect your sadness. You know what I'm saying? If that's where you need to be right now, I'm not trying to rush that process because, like you said, usually it's for the man's comfort because we don't know how to navigate or we're not open to navigating those own emotions within ourselves. That makes us extremely uncomfortable. So when we got to help carry it or navigate y'all, then it reflects, one, what we don't have the ability to do, the willingness to do, and the things within ourselves that really make us uncomfortable, not even pertaining to the relationship that we haven't allowed to surface. It's so many mirrors that come up in a question like, you okay? Or what's wrong? My nigga, everything is love, but that on anything I love. Yeah.
Peace, beloved.
I ain't hear it.
Oh, good. You probably was mentally somewhere else. Ooh, loud. But good, I don't want you to hear it. Sometimes I do want you to hear it, though.
Your burps?
Yeah.
Not your farts.
Yeah, and I don't fart.
That caught you slipping. I just said to my wife earlier, it's been 6 years, 4 years in the same household, and she got to be a cyborg. I've never heard, smelled a fart, a poop, or nothing. I'm in the house with this woman 24 hours a day for 4 years. How do you do it? What do you do? We got an outhouse I don't know about. Do you go dig a hole and then put the soil back over it? What you be doing? Let me ask you this. Outside of the execution of it, and by the way, this is part 2, y'all. We'll do the introduction in a second. This is interesting to me right now. You good? You can keep it on camera.
Okay.
You ain't got no labels.
Okay.
Why is that important to you? Because so many people, so many...
That's clear.
That's what we doing? You can't be the production manager sitting right next to me if you go all day. But yeah, so many women talk about, well, if you really love me, I should just be able to do everything, which I agree with to a certain degree. I wouldn't be mad at you if I had to smell your poop and hear your farts and stuff like that. I wouldn't be mad. I would actually think it was funny, especially going this long and never having seen you done any of that. So it ain't a thing where I'm mandating that, but I do respect it and I do appreciate that you kind of maintain that. I don't even know if secrecy is the right word, but just damn near respect for my attraction and being able to see you in a certain light.
Yeah.
What is it for you? Like, why do you not allow me to see that? Smell, hear that.
Yeah. I think for me, there's a level of femininity that I don't feel I have. And I think if I were to allow that to happen, it would just kind of make me even more of the masculine man that I think I am. So it's like it allows me to protect the femininity that you get to experience, the sensuality you get to experience. And you know, I can see some people looking at it like, oh, well, y'all don't know all of each other. And I don't see that as the case. I think there has to be some sexiness.
I don't need to know your poop.
I don't, right? I think it's beautiful that there's some sensuality and some mystery. I think
mystery.
Women should have some level of mystery to them, even in their relationships. That don't mean that you don't know all of me, but there is some mystery because you're like, how do you even do that? I'm like, I don't.
It made me think about that episode from...
Can y'all lift both eyebrows?
You loopy already? Is this where we already at?
Beyonce can lift both eyebrows.
You're doing too much.
Go drink some water, girl.
Go drink some water.
Cleo. She's so slovenly. Go sit down.
Go sit.
Go sit down.
Go sit. Go sit.
Sit down.
Go sit. Go sit.
Cleo, go sit. Thank you. Like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Beyonce can lift both eyebrows. She can do both ears. She can cross both eyes.
You going off track. You going off track. Like I was saying on the episode of Different World.
It's
Strokes.
a different
world. It's back on Netflix. Phenomenal show. Definitely stood the test of time. But there's
yes, it is now.
So I got to deal with both of y'all today.
Here's my chance.
That's what we doing.
To make it. You can dish it. We can take it. Just remember that you've been told it's a different world.
We're trying to advocate for marriage.
You're right.
Anyway, but nah, there was an episode of A Different World where I think Whitley and Dwayne had just got married. Oh no, they was married for a minute, and he was saying something about when she wakes up, her she don't got morning breath, and then they show her the next episode. She was going in the bathroom in the middle of the night, like right before he would wake up and brush her teeth. So like knowing that you do that. You use the word mystery. It damn near feel like safety, like a measure of safety. Because over time, yeah, it can be beautiful as far as just being completely open and regular with every aspect of yourselves. But like you said, I feel like that sexiness, that sensual nature is one of the first things to normally leave a relationship when it's so much routine. People got kids, people got jobs, and we just let it all hang out. Yes, that's intimacy too. But a lot of times people won't advocate for the intimacy that's in you saying, you know what, I want you to always be able to have this piece of me. Before you was able to lay in my bed and be in the same household with me, I want you to always have to guess like, damn, do she even do that? Because I got so much respect for my husband's ability to continue to see me in the sensual light. So that was off topic, but yeah, for me, that does feel like a certain form of safety. I feel like more men will probably want that. And may not speak up about it. They just got to deal with the farts and the poop and all of that. But I do appreciate that you do that. Yeah. Now you can introduce.
Oh, man, I haven't even introduced you yet. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of God It's Me Again. I am Candyss Love.
And it's your boy, Brickcitibuddha.
And
what would you do without me?
We are here and ready to rock and roll.
What you do know is part 2. We about to get into some other aspects of the marriage conversation. Anything lingering or left over, because you just did a quick live.
I did. So, I just went live. Yeah. And this is what I'll say, and I'm going to keep it real brief. I saw a post a few weeks ago that basically asked about philosophers. And the post was basically saying, why don't we have any philosophers in our generation? And I believe we don't have any philosophers because people don't allow themselves to think for themselves. We don't have philosophers because people don't think for themselves. And to be a philosopher, to create your own ideologies, you have to give yourself permission to think outside the box. And what I recognize is a lot of people feel safe in their boxes. And stepping outside the box means that safety is not present and that they have to protect themselves. And this is why a lot of people who live within the confines of a box, they don't understand when people step out of it. And for a lot of people like us, living outside the box feels like safety. It feels like freedom and liberation. Whereas when most people follow societal standards, they follow societal norms, and they obey what society has programmed them to believe, that feels like safety to them. Going to a 9-to-5, getting a white picket fence, having children by a certain age, all of that aligns with the societal standard that feels like safety and protection, and they know what to expect when it comes to that. When you step outside of a box and you start creating your own philosophies and your own ideologies, it's also with the understanding everybody ain't gonna believe this. Everybody's not going to align with this. Everybody's not going to agree with this, and they don't have to. because it aligns with me. And I brought up the analogy of Socrates and Plato and all of these other great philosophers of the past. Do you think that when they came up with these philosophies and ideologies that the whole world supported them and was behind them? A lot of these great minds were ostracized. They were judged. People threw their opinions at them because a lot of what they spoke about didn't align with the Bible. It didn't align with whatever the religion was at that time in that town. And it didn't align with what people were taught and what the masses were doing. It takes a lot of self-power to give yourself permission to do something different, even when you know that other people will not agree with it. And a lot of life is about power. If you write your life story, this is actually an assignment that I have in my new book. If you write your life story, you'll be able to see how much of your life you spent being disempowered versus being empowered. And most of people's lives are stories and journeys and experiences of them being disempowered. That's why when we're speaking about relationships and people's biggest fears of being cheated on, they have a history of being disempowered. And when we're saying, but you can make your own rules, you can think for yourself, they don't have the capacity to even fathom that they can empower them.
Good.
Yep.
And it's not just that they feel a way about it, they also project that fear, and then it turns into anger. People literally be mad at us for just living our life the way we want to live it.
Yeah.
And we may have done enough work to not care, right? And be in that IDGAF space, but a lot of people may not have gotten to that point, and a lot of people may want to be able to explore some of the things we may advocate that works for us. But they got the peanut gallery telling them, if you step outside of this, when you go back to COVID, and we got all these lawsuits and all this stuff coming out now, but when people was making their own choice for their own body, we saw how that group mentality affected what went on in the world. I don't think there will ever be another moment in human history where people kind of got wrestled into submission with their own will for what they wanted to do with their life and their body. And a lot of people are still paying the results of that. I feel like a large part of what affected my mother's physical was her just trusting all that different, what you call them? The shots,
when the jab. Oh.
It was a fancy word for it, but yeah, it's the same difference. But people was just so trustworthy of what somebody said because they got in front of a camera, they had a suit on, they looked presentable, and we be taking these things as scripture. So that aspect of it is definitely a huge part of this conversation. Going into some of the stuff that we didn't get to in part one. You had anything else on part one before we go?
No.
Good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to get into the experience of marriage.
Yeah.
And going beyond just conjecture and us having conversation, we are a married couple.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't hear these sides or these questions from us. So one of the first things I wanted to kind of pick apart was the term, two become one. And I feel like that leaves out a lot of context.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that. I'm sure you do agree with that, but I feel like that sentence is incomplete.
Yeah.
I feel like it's two become one while you remain one, right? Individuality is extremely necessary for a healthy relationship. And I feel like people also sign that paperwork with the understanding that I'm here to get swallowed up in the oneness of both of us. And we very much so lose our individuality. We stop fighting for it. We stop making accommodations for the fact I still need these things to myself. So what aspect of how I show up as a husband feels most protective of your individuality?
Have you ever been swallowed? I just could not. I had to. Can you please ask me the question
Yes.
again?
What aspect of how I show up as a husband makes you feel most protected as far as your individuality?
Oh, well, the freedom that you offer me to maintain my individuality.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in relationships don't have that freedom to be an individual. They go everywhere together. They do everything together. They believe the same things. They have the same opinions. They have the same friends. They travel to the same places. There is no individuality. And I'm an only child. So individuality really matters to me. Alone time matters to me. So you've really offered me the autonomy to just do what Candyss needs to do for Candyss. And
what's your favorite one? What's been the most impactful way I've been able to protect your individuality? What stands out the most? I know it's a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard question to answer because it is a lot. Is there a way that you feel you have offered that to me that stands out the most to you?
I think probably, and this was actually part of the rest of what we wanted to talk. Well, I wanted to talk about today. Giving you the grace and the space to feel whatever you need to feel. Of course, I could throw out book stuff and, stuff that's easily tangible and pointed to, but I think that aspect of it, because men don't often talk about the fear that we feel and the trauma and the fact that we are built to be just so even keeled emotionally. And when you start to share a home and a life with a woman and you get a front row seat, unless you had a bunch of sisters and stuff like that, but even that's different. When you get a woman in a romantic setting and y'all married and y'all doing this life thing together, how much topsy-turviness emotionally comes with femininity, that shit's scary for men. We're not used to that. And that's a skill set and a technology and a language that we got to actually learn. I had some of it locked in, but I've never had any connection this deep, this resonant. And that has required as much of me, as easy as our connection is, with the level of soul connection we got, it's pushing us constantly to new levels of ourselves and how we're able to love each other. So me having to learn how to hold space for the dance of just one morning you may wake up and you jovial and we cracking jokes and it is what it is. And then sometimes you got to hit me with the text like, today ain't that day.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to think I'm being mean to you, but I'm going to be in a low bag right now. And you actually are really emotionally aligned compared to probably a lot of other women and still been a college I've had to go through to be able to get to the level I am now. Most men are dealing with women, and I remember we said on the podcast, how many times do you feel like you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? It was like maybe 2 or 3, right? I felt like it was even less. These days it's probably even less unless you're in a bag when you're doing too much writing all at once or you're picking up too much at once. But a lot of other women, we talking 5 to 10, 10 to 15 times a month, especially in long-term relationship. Disdain has built up, annoyance, attraction has decreased. They just in a space all the time. So men being afraid of that and having to navigate that on the fly, I feel like one of my greatest verses that I wrote in the song of our relationship together has been, even if I don't get it in the moment, even if I need to acquire a new skill set to give you that space and grace to feel whatever you need to feel, I think it's pretty much been staying out of the way of how you need to dance with your emotions.
I love that. I love that you said staying out of the way, because that's really what it is. So in my past relationships, I've never lived with anyone before. It's always just been me by myself, and that allows me the freedom to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But not just the freedom to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I also feel a lot of deep emotions because I'm doing real deep healing work. So there's emotions that I don't even know why they're present. They're emotions from past lifetimes that I'm working through. They're emotions from when I was 3 years old that my body's still working through that I don't have an answer for. I don't know why I feel that way. And so when I'm by myself, though, I don't have to have an answer why. Sometimes what happens when you're in a relationship and living with someone, you have to have an answer of why you feel what you feel. And that can cause dissension or issues within the relationship because, one, you probably don't know how to put a name to what you feel because it's probably not even meant for you to put a name to what you feel. And then, two, you probably don't even know why you feel it. You don't know what you feel or why you feel it. And so because you don't know what you feel or why you feel it, but you have somebody that's like, what's wrong? Did I do something? And it has to take you out of your own emotion just to explain and express to them what will make them feel better. Mm-hmm. And so for me to not have to do that in our marriage has given me a lot of freedom, because I can just feel what I need to feel. I can transmute whatever emotions I need to transmute. And I don't have to exhaust all of my energy trying to explain it to you, so you don't take how I feel personally. So you don't think that what I feel has anything to do with you. Having the ability to stay out of the way and just allow me to process my own emotions is, to me, the epitome of provision.
You got something else?
No, but I wanted to ask you, what do you feel?
Hold that thought. Let me just, and then you got to ask. We're the same person. We say it all the time, because as you were saying, answer, in my head was, I need to talk about the fact that a lot of times men feel like our women need to answer to us about what they feel, right? And when a lot of times, not all the time, but when a man will ask, baby, what's wrong? It's probably genuine. He probably wants her to feel good as much as possible. And in that moment, if she doesn't, yes, there's some authenticity to the question, what's wrong?
Or he may want to fix it.
But that's what I was about to say. Underneath what's wrong is, all right, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he may not want to just come out and say that, but there's often that projection of, I'm messing up. I'm trying to protect me eventually getting barked on. Or you telling me I'm doing something wrong that you may not have worked up the ability to tell me just yet. So even when we ask what's wrong, there's a subtle level of coercion, pressure, rushing, hurrying your process in a lot of ways where and that's something I used to do. And I would ask you multiple times in the same day, like if your attitude or whatever you want to call it, even if it ain't had to do with me, in the back of my mind, a lot of my work had to do with me not superimposing what you feel. That's in a whole nother aspect of your being, your life, your mind, your spirit. I had to start to peel apart that this is a me thing. That eventually I'm going to wear the brunt of what you feel, or I may have initiated in a way that you didn't tell me yet. In my silent time in between, you okay? What's wrong? I had to start to realize, bro, every time you ask her that, it's kind of hurrying her process. And like you said, you may not have known why you felt that way, where it was coming from. So me incrementally stopping and decreasing the amount of time I would say, you okay? What's wrong? Has been a conscious act. And I do it way less. You probably never even noticed, or we never had this conversation, but I do it way less now. I know we said in the previous episode we just had the other day where it turned into laughter, but you gave me the heads up this one of them days. I ended up making you laugh. I wasn't trying to do that, but after a while I said, I respect your sadness. You know what I'm saying? If that's where you need to be right now, I'm not trying to rush that process, because like you said, usually it's for the man's comfort, because we don't know how to navigate, or we're not open to navigating those own emotions within ourselves. That makes us extremely uncomfortable. So when we got to help carry it or navigate y'all, then it reflects, one, what we don't have the ability to do, the willingness to do, and the things within ourselves that really make us uncomfortable, not even pertaining to the relationship that we haven't allowed to surface. It's so many mirrors that come up in a question like, you okay? Or what's wrong?
Yeah. And I think too, I think men are obviously conditioned to protect. And then with that, when they see that their wife or their girlfriend doesn't feel their best emotionally, they do have the desire to protect them or to fix the situation. And women's job, or whoever it is in this scenario, my job is to remind you that it's not your job to fix my emotions. I have the autonomy, I have the power, I have the tools to fix it. And if I need help, you've left the door open all of our relationship. So I know that if I need help, I can always come to you. And I think a lot of it is also the pressure, because most people do feel that, well, I'm sad. You love me, so you're supposed to fix it. And that is not your spouse's job to be your therapist. Now, they can hold space for you and they can show up in whatever their capacity, but it is your job to do your own healing work. It's your job to be able to use the right words to communicate to your spouse what you're feeling It's your job to be able to name what you're feeling. And it's also your job to remind them that you have the autonomy to evolve through your own emotional energy. I think it's very irresponsible when people feel heavy emotions and then they go look at their spouse and it's like, okay, fix me. And it's like, no, you fix yourself. I will be here to hold space with you in your process of you fixing yourself.
And it brings up like when my mom transitioned, that was probably the first time I was able to look at that part of myself that I would put pressure on myself, just like you put pressure on yourself with the book. I would put pressure on myself to hurry up and get back to equilibrium emotionally. And it's like, nigga, your mom just died, bro.
Right.
And Candyss is not asking you to hurry up and feel okay. This is probably the first time in my life where I recognized that mechanism inside my mind and my subconscious that was trying to expedite me to get back to homeostasis for everybody else. So I wouldn't be a drag. You know, I got a very big heart, still recovering from savior syndrome and trying to just make sure everybody good, even at my own detriment. So you have allowed me to feel safe enough and you continue to reassure me through that process. You ain't got to hurry this, bro. Take your time. And I saw a clip. There's been a lot of this coming up. I've been watching a lot more relationship podcasts to get ready for our reaction page and all that type of stuff. And it was a compilation of a bunch of different women. It was mostly women of color, black women. But they would be in the car and pretty much just going off about the fact that they got a really good man. They got a really good life, beautiful children, and they just can't help but to want to leave. They don't have a particularly valid reason, but they would say things like, I have to keep waking up next to him, and we got to go to sleep together, and we get in the same car, and it's just too much. And yes, that comes from that encroachment on individuality we've been talking about. But a large part of why that squeeze is there is not just the physical proximity. It's the fact that people in these relationships don't feel the right, or they don't give themselves or are given by their partners the space to go through your process in whatever time frame you need to go through it. So of course, if you don't feel safe in that, you gotta hurry up and rush back to being, a docile, pleasant wife. And that may not be where you have been for years. Yeah. A lot of women is faking pleasantry, fighting through depression.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Men on the same wavelength on the other side of the spectrum. So I think this is a big part of one of the misnomers about marriage is that women need to be the emotional leaders for men and have the whole mainframe locked in so I can take care of my emotions as a woman and guide you. No, bro, you got to do your work. Yeah. You got to do your work for yourself, and then that should reflect over to your partner for her to feel safe. And then on the other end, a lot of times...
I wanted to add to that.
Go ahead, yeah.
I remember I was looking up a study, and the study shows that there was a study done on 10,000 women. And in that study, they found that women who do not express that they are unhappy in their marriages are 4 times more likely to die than women who do express that they're unhappy. And so what they found is it's not an issue of unhappiness. It's an issue of the lack of authentic self-expression. The fear, the uncomfortability with just expressing that they are unhappy, just expressing that something is not aligning with their spirit. And then we go on the podcast and we express that I sleep in the room downstairs, where the average woman will suffer in silence, because they don't want to cause disharmony in their marriage. And a lot of people have this weird rhetoric that eventually that's going to lead to divorce. But the truth is, women have been programmed and continue to follow the programming of just doing what's best for the family. And men do this too, but the study was done on women. Right. So that's why I'm speaking about women. But they go with what the family and what the husband needs so much that they dishonor and betray themselves just to continue going with the status quo. And so now they develop cancer, diseases, aches and pains in the body, lapses of memory, thyroid issues, drinking problems, smoking, escaping their reality, all because people are suffering and being silent about their suffering. They don't have the capacity or the empowerment to ask for what they need without hurting their spouse's feelings. And I just thought that was just really important.
And that makes me think about the conversation we had outside when we initially got the news that Marty was supposed to be moving down here. Eventually, we're going to have to bring y'all up to speed on that. But I remember as we was navigating it, it was our first conversation when we got the word that she was Marty's mom, my son's mom, was open to sending him to live here. And we just try and navigate all the things that needed to be talked about in that first conversation. And I remember one of the things I suggested, which you was vehemently against, he was like, bro, you heard me out. You let me get it off. And I was pretty much saying, like, you know, I got so much respect for your need for space and individuality. And initially we built this house with the consideration of him being a lot smaller and younger. Now we would need to build onto the house or whatever it was. We didn't get to the build onto the house conversation just yet. So I'm just thinking of options for if he's coming to live here, not just me being able to be with my son, but not encroaching on your individuality. And one of the things I recommended was maybe I need to start looking for an apartment that I won't just exclusively live there, but at least we got some type of space. And he's like, baby, I hear you, but absolutely not, right? But even that idea, if I was I'm saying it publicly right now, a lot of men will hear that, oh, that here's him, right? But I understand how important it is and my ability to provide way beyond money is my ability to keep you in your incubator of your individuality being prioritized. And a lot of men, partially due to how women perpetuate that all you got to do is provide and protect and have the bag. So women are culpable in this as well to a very large degree. We definitely going to be doing some topics on that. But men a lot of men can't even sniff that layer of provision to even have that thought. And even though the thought wasn't what you wanted, it led to the conversation of, okay, well, how do we establish an incubator for your individuality to still be held at a premium?
Right.
A lot of men could have took that conversation of, well, if he's moving down here, we got to do something to secure my space. Well, this is my son. You've been saying you wanted to be, and they could have felt the weight. That never went through my system because I understand how important this individuality thing is.
Yeah, and I think to your point, there are a lot of women on social media speaking about how they have gone out and got an apartment. And how they still have their kids, they still have their husband at home, but they've gone out and gotten apartments for a month. And, you know, you can do this through Airbnb. You can rent for extended amounts of time. And they've done this just to recalibrate their own emotions or recalibrate where they are mentally or recalibrate where they are in their work or just to have a breath of fresh air and time that just belongs to them. But you have to have a spouse that's in agreement with what do you need to do to get yourself together? What do you need to do to feel whole? This doesn't include me. This is your work to do, and I'm going to support you. If you need a month away, then go and do that. And the bottom line is, even when you go to work.
A month, I can hear him now.
Right. Even when you go to work, you get time off from work. That's a place that you got to go damn near every day. Right. You get allotted time off, and if you somebody like me and you know how to finesse the system, you're going to use that FMLA to your advantage. I took FMLA. They got on my nerves or they decided to retaliate against me, I'm going straight to the doctor on your ass. And I use my FMLA and I would get a month off probably 2 times a year. And so the same goes for in a relationship. There may be time where you just need a breather for yourself, and you have to have a partner that is in support and understanding. Obviously, there are going to be foundational, not rules, but agreements that allow both parties to feel comfortable, but it's on the table. Nothing is taken off the table. And this is why I started the podcast with speaking or allowing yourself to live outside the box. If you're inside the box, then anything that lives outside of the confines of that box cannot be spoken about. It'll instantly be dismissed. It'll be judged, and you will be seen as wrong or the villain. But if you just put everything on the table and you have this open and honest relationship, you can maneuver through the different options and both of you can decide what works best for you.
I got to push back a little bit. And I'm with everything you just said. I think it's just one caveat that got to be included. You said you got to have a partner that accepts these seasons, right? I don't even think that will work. You got to have a partner that has mastered how they show up for themselves as an individual. Because let's say I'm accepting of these things, but I don't have a relationship with myself established before you even came along. I'm not taking myself out on dates. I don't enjoy my own personal time. Outside of just spiritual and meditation, I was outside. Yeah. People still come up to me like, yo, I remember I ran into you. You was at the museum by yourself, and that was just really dope to me, and I started to do stuff like that. So acceptance is cool. That's a baseline. And you may be with a person that is open to acceptance, but they have never done the work to fall in love with themselves first. So when that month may come, they still are in wait mode, as opposed to I have an opportunity to now love on myself for this month as much as I love my wife. When she need to take a trip, to write her book, to do her van life, I'm excited to be with Docs. You feel me? And I'm sure she feel the same way. And some people may take offense to something like that, but that's a larger aspect of the whole not farting or pooping in front of me. It's like you open yourself up to being able to be so self-sufficient that you have no choice but to allow that freedom to spill onto that other person, because I'm showing up because I want you. I don't need you. I want you. And the want is so deep that it can look like it's a need. But if my wife was to ever leave, and we say this all the time, there will be a period of devastation. But I'm not going to be broken, because I already had this self-love and individuality and connection with Source before my wife showed up, and vice versa.
And not only are you not going to be broken, you aren't going to lose yourself in that either, because you are so grounded in your individuality that because our marriage ends or a relationship ends, you won't lose yourself in that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You was going to ask me a question. I don't know if you still remember.
Yeah, the question was the same question that you asked me. I think it was in what ways have I provided freedom for you?
Not just freedom, but honoring my individuality or protecting my individuality.
Yeah. Shoot from the hip. I feel gangster in this top, like
I mean, honestly, and this again,
Kendrick.
it's a lot of ways. You would have to just button the top button if you really want to do it for real.
I know.
You ain't gonna do it?
No.
Honestly, the highest level of it is something that I often wish you didn't have to deal with, which is what I've had to go through as a father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many nuances to that, and it's an ongoing thing. I still pray and hold space open for the time where it can just be smooth, whatever that's going to look like, but we ain't there yet.
Yeah.
We've had very small glimpses of when it looked like that. So for the most part, since you've been with me seriously, you've had to deal with that. And there may have been times where you wanted to hold or protect my heart in ways where I wasn't asking you to do it, just because you don't want to see me hurt.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you've just let me have this experience, and you've contributed as much as you could without stepping across the boundary of, all right, this is what he needs to experience on a soul level, as a man, as a father. Let me not get in the way of that. And you not getting in the way of that sometimes falls onto you. And it makes extra work that, you still signed up for on your soul contract.
Right.
But on a human level, it's extra work that you don't really have to deal with. At any point, you could say, nah, bro, I don't want to do this shit no more. Man, you've continued to show up with respect for my autonomy and me being able to go through my process. Honestly, that's, of all the different forms I've received love in, that's probably the most selfless I've ever experienced love in. Like, because this shit is crazy. Yeah. And I know what it does to me, but I have to be here. Yeah. I want to be, of course. I love my son, but I ain't got a choice in the matter. Yeah. You've had a choice from day one. So I think that's probably the highest. I'm not going to say highest, but the one that sticks out for me the most, because every piece of it is integral to my process.
Yeah. Does it ever make you feel bad?
What aspect?
I guess, like, because when you speak about what I have to not be a part of, but what I have to feel, and I guess what I have to be a part of. Like, does that ever make you? It did.
Yeah, definitely. Used to make me feel bad. I used to question myself. Am I putting too much on you by just wanting to be in your life and allowing you to be in my life, it's been times where I had to calculate, should I end this for your sake? You know what I'm saying? It didn't last long because our connection is just so dope, and necessary for both of our growth. But yeah, it's definitely, I had to work past guilt and shame for you having to be a part of this situation.
And shame?
Shame too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you worked past that because I definitely don't want you to feel any shame or any guilt. And because this is something that I signed on for.
You broke the program. I forgot what the nuance or detail was at that time of us navigating this situation, but you literally said to me, you looked me right in my eyes and you was like, look, I'm signing up to be with you, which means I'm signing up for whatever comes with that. Mm-hmm. And I know at that point, I kept trying to protect you from what I was going through. And as a result, I was keeping you out of my heart. I wasn't clawing you into what I was navigating internally. And you felt like I'm thinking I'm protecting you from it. And you like, I don't know what's going on. This is making it worse for me. So I remember in that conversation, like you just really firmly said it and lovingly said it in a way where it finally clicked.
Yeah.
That even if I have a conversation with you about what's going on with that or how I'm feeling about it, even if it brings you some level of harm, you wrote the contract in that moment that I want this. I'm signing up for this. So that kind of made my calculation process a lot easier. Now all I got to calculate is how I get it across to you, when I get it across to you. But I know I have to say, and it's interesting that I just had a conversation with our brother, with I'm not gonna say his name, but I had a conversation with one of our brothers, and he was going back and forth with his companion about the fact that I believe she felt there should be no part of his heart that shouldn't be available to her. She had overheard a conversation he had with somebody. It wasn't nothing like cheating type stuff. It was just how he felt about a particular dynamic in their relationship that was about to change, that he was accepting of, he wasn't mad at, but he was just communicating to somebody that this going to be a shift. And he had never expressed that to her. So he was asking like, bro, does every aspect of my heart got to be on the table? It don't have to be, but I've realized now how necessary that is for a healthy relationship, especially when you're talking long term and all the shifts and changes that come with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it doesn't have to be, but there is a component to where if we gonna move like one, then that really makes us feel like one, So, and it's also because I say all the time, can't nobody tell me nothing about you.
Right.
Period. About you.
Because you already know.
You know what I'm saying? Like they can't say like anything or your husband's this or your husband did that. I know all of what my husband is, who he has the capacity to be, what he has the capacity to do, what he feels about certain topics, what he feels about certain people. There's no aspect to your life that I'm not included in, and vice versa. And that's why we move really, I mean, a lot of people move like they're militant. We move like a militant unit. You know what I'm saying?
Matrimony militant.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like just those small things are important things.
And even as you saying small, I had on the board, and we probably all experienced this. We've laughed at it at certain points. But y'all ever been out and you may be having dinner with somebody or by yourself, and there's usually going to be at least one couple in the restaurant that they together, they probably been married probably for a long time. They eating their food and they're not saying a word to each other. They may be on their phone, but there is no level of synergy or interaction. And if we catch one of these couples, we'll start trying to act like we know or project what they thinking or what their conversation would be like. We'll have fun with it. But that aspect, I feel like that's a synopsis of how people see marriage when they're not married, that it's boring, that it's going to end up in a position where you're going to be face to face with somebody and don't even want to look in their eye. And based on this part of the conversation, it don't even always got to be deep stuff. As far as me cluing you in to where I'm at and what's going on in my system, we could be watching a reality show, some ratchet TV, and a topic will come up that will turn into a very deep soul level conversation. And when it's to that level of matrimonial militance, now everything is an opportunity for us to get deeper in our love, to get deeper in our understanding of each other. We never going to run out of topics to be able to talk about. It's kind of, Okay. Yeah, we never gonna run out of topics to be able to talk about. And now our whole life is a tapestry for us to continuously develop our love. Ain't no boring pockets at this point. I've never felt bored with this marriage where other men is like, yeah, ball and chain, and I got to deal with it. I ain't never felt like this.
Yeah.
I've said it on multiple podcasts. This is the most fun I've had in 44 years. The last 6 years of my life with one woman.
Yeah.
We be outside for real, and we still finding more ways to understand one day we not going to have this. One day we may not have the activity of our limbs. One day one of us is going to transition before the other. So while we here, even if it's baby, it's 7 o'clock, let's just go watch the sunset, right? Or whatever it may be, let's squeeze the juice out of the headphones with this life thing. And I feel like a lot of times when people look at marriage, they don't see that. They just see stringence, boundary, eventually interest fading and running out. And now you just got to deal with this person for the next 30 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You got anything else on that?
Mm-mm.
All right, moving right along.
Let me know when this bothers you too. I just got
I'm okay. I'm okay. Another question I have for you is, let's see, did I finish that? Yeah, we good on that. What are some of the benefits of marriage for you as an individual that you never expected would be a part of this?
Oh, that's a good question. What are some of the benefits of marriage that I never expected?
That have helped you as an individual?
Showing me my blind spots, showing me the parts of myself that I wasn't conscious of. And, you know, I'm an only child, and a lot of my healing has been by myself in solitude. But we know that people are mirrors. And what you have done as my husband is shown me the parts of myself that I can't see. And that's James Baldwin's quote, if you love somebody, then your job is to show them and make them conscious of the parts of themselves they can't see. And above everything, my healing is my priority. Mm-hmm. And so for you to have enough tact and patience and compassion to show me those parts, but in a loving way, that's really big. To be able to, even in the conversations where, say, you may do something I don't like, and I may get a little bit aggressive, a little too fast. And like the last time that happened, you was like, you coming at me really hard right now. There's a way that you say things that give me an opportunity to pause and reflect. There's a way that you bring things to my attention that allow me to sit with myself and not feel bad in that process, not feel afraid of if I need to come back and apologize, or not feel afraid of if it's an area within myself that just needs growth. You were the first person that was like, that acknowledged how much salt I was putting on my food. You were the first person that was able to acknowledge my unbalanced behaviors with food. I've been in isolation my whole life. I've been in solitude for a certain amount of years. So there's no one to see me and say, that's not in alignment with who I know you want to be. That's not in alignment with who I know you're working to be. And you have the capacity to do that in such a loving way that I've never experienced before outside of my mom. But even with my mom, it's only to a certain degree. There's certain aspects of me that she will never see. But in a romantic marriage, you get to see all of me in ways that nobody else ever will. And so having the autonomy to change myself because you've had the leadership and the ability to provide safe space for me to evolve freely, to grow freely and without shame, guilt, or embarrassment. I think that's probably one of the biggest offerings that anybody can have in a marriage.
And I think the result of that will probably be my answer. As you was just talking, I was thinking about how on an individual level, what I've gotten from this marriage has been a lot of retroactive healing. Of course, it's present day, present moment healing constantly and just love being shared. But I came into this with so many wounds, so many breakages and blockages in my spirit. Specifically, I know I've had a lot to offer from a very young age as far as my wisdom. and my guidance, and again, the big heart and the savior syndrome, and just wanting to help people. And I'm really masterful at being able to guide somebody out of their shit. And I've been able to do that for a long time. But in the romantic sector, like a lot of other men, specifically probably men of color, can attest to, none of the women will listen to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at a certain point, I started to second guess, damn, am I really as wise as I may think I am? And I don't even want to say it like that. Am I really the conduit for God that I've thought myself to be? Mm-hmm. I've had a very intense connection with God from a very early age. And even though my spirituality has shifted, I wanted to please God so bad for so long. And I write in my book, when I started to get into masturbation at a very early age, that was like the first split or schism in my personality, where I knew God was always watching. So I had to become a darker version of myself to go into that act and then come back and try to make up for it and be even better. So I kind of was in a very transactional relationship with God, always trying to make up for my shadow. And that, coupled with having all this wisdom and guidance and things that could really help a woman's life that I may have been with, and just not being listened to. So the fact that you just spoke about that, and you have, whether you went with it or not, whether you agreed with it or not, whether you implemented it or not, you've always heard me. You've always seen the merit in the guidance I may have had to offer. And me not forcing it has also allowed your space to not be hurried in your process, where I may say it a year from now, and 2 years from now, it actually comes into fruition. Yeah. And that's healed a large part of ways I failed in previous relationships, of trying to provide in a way that brought that particular woman to the next level of herself. If I look back at it, none of that shit worked as far as me providing that way to push them to that next level, because they would not listen to me. Yeah. They did not value what I had to say. Beyond not valuing what I had to say, they would be the ones that second guess me. They would be the ones that make me feel bad, not just for the guidance I was trying to give them, but the guidance I was instilling for my own life, the intense sacrifice I was making to try to serve God to the best of my ability. I damn near got clowned for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to now have you being so open from day one, that's healed a lot of what was broken within me.
Yeah, I love that. I love to hear that too. And it's kind of like the testament of knowing that when you're in a relationship that has the love for you, they will receive you. You know what I'm saying? When you are in the right relationship with the right person, they want to hear your leadership. They want your guidance. They want your advice. They want to hear what you have to say. They trust what you have to say. And that's a big part of y'all's relationship. And so they lost, you know what I'm saying? Little dummies lost in the sauce ass. Because as soon as you came into my life, you had such beautiful guidance where it was like, oh, he's a safe space. Yeah. I feel safe in his leadership, to the point today there's certain business decisions and I'm like, babe, is this price enough? Is this how much they should pay? Is this how much I should price this at? And you like, nah, that's a good price. I don't even be like, you sure? It's like, okay. Because I trust that you don't, like I said before, you don't just go off what your ego wants to say. You don't just go off what your mind wants to say. You actually consult with God before you guide me. You actually sit with, should this be said? Is it necessary to be said right now? And should it be said by me? You naturally go through that process. And most of the times when you know there's something that needs to be said, you wait months before you said it. And sometimes you just allow me to go through my own process and arrive to my own answer, knowing that it was just meant for me to step back. She'll get there when she's supposed to get there. That's real leadership and provision. And unfortunately, some people will be in relationships with people that they're not supposed to guide, that they're not supposed to lead. So this is just a testament that we are both exactly where we're supposed to be, because you had something to offer and I had an open heart to be able to receive it.
Before I double down on what you just said as we close out, I still have to ask this question because I can hear him now. Everything been positive on this marriage shit. Got to be something you don't like. It may not be. But I still gotta ask this question for people who want to know the tea on. All right, well, what's the bad shit? What are, if any, negatives that you didn't anticipate about marriage? Take your time.
Negatives that I did not anticipate.
Mm-hmm. Well, you ain't been able to fart in 6 years. So.
I wouldn't say these are negatives, and I wouldn't even say that I didn't anticipate them. Mm-hmm. I think these are things that I knew. I just didn't know how to maneuver them yet. Mm-hmm. But it's just living with somebody. Mm-hmm. I think that's really it. When you live with somebody, you have to learn how to do, like we started the last podcast off talking about the AC. Mm-hmm. It's the ability to compromise on things that you may not want to compromise. I may want to paint the walls white. Mm-hmm. He may wake up one day and be like, nah, I like green. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what? We not painting the house no goddamn green. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it's the cleaning styles. It's the aesthetic. Yeah. I like the house to look like a aesthetic. He's like, man,
I need functionality. She needs feng shui.
I put these plants in the pantry, y'all. And it was beautiful. But to open the pantry and get stuff out, you had to move the plants out the way. Trees. It was trees.
And I tried to rock with it for like 3 weeks. I'll open them doors one day. I'm like, I'm not doing this, bro. This one of them ones I'm not going to do.
And so I think for me, that's not a negative. Yeah. It's just an adjustment. And for some, if they don't have the ability to compromise, that can be a real negative, and it could be an adjustment that can really alter the relationship. And I think too, what needs to happen is people should get really clear on what they like and what they don't like, what they want to experience versus what they don't. And so what I found is, like I said, my aunt, that's an elder, she lives in St. Augustine, Texas. Her and her husband had separate houses. Mm-hmm. He lived right next door to her. And that allowed him to have his own space. Mm-hmm. You clean up when you want to clean up. I clean up how I want to clean up. I ain't got to worry about you messing up my stuff or stealing my stuff. Because I take a lot of my husband's stuff and let him tell it I lose everything or I break it. Okay. And so sometimes people need their own separate spaces. And I think that that's healthy, but I don't think people get clear on what they want, how they want it to look. I even read something a long time ago where Jay-Z was always frustrated with Beyonce because when she would get home, she would just leave her stuff in the foyer, or she would just leave her stuff everywhere because she was so tired. And I think, for me, it's not a negative, but it is an adjustment to not having things how I would want them. Now things are how it works best for both of us.
I think, and I got the same answer. Mm-hmm. And I think you just cracked the code and unlocked, new fear unlocked, new question unlocked as far as the dating scene. Nobody's asking, so what is your domestic style?
Yeah.
Like, let's get that out in the beginning. Especially if things are going right. It may not have to be the first date, but if things is going good and you can envision yourself, especially if we people of a certain age, you can envision yourself sharing a life with somebody. Y'all need to get that in pocket because, like you said, we have the tools to be able to navigate these things. Sometimes they can be annoying, frustrating, or turn into like really big shit. But we got the tools. For people that don't, and you have to deal with this 10, 20 years, and we ain't got, outside of when my son is here, and eventually, hopefully, he'll be able to live here permanently. But we don't got kids in the house, right? We got the pets and stuff like that, but that's light work. It's a lot more that a lot of other couples have to deal with while navigating, oh, this is your domestic style?
Yeah.
I don't like this. And that's what's going to be the most consistent form of dissension, because finances may come at the end of the month. Bills come at the end of the month. Sexual issues is not going to be all the time. Every day there's going to be some semblance of domestic duties that can prompt disdain on your behalf. And I remember I talked to you about, you said you wanted to soften your heart. Part of one of the blockages for my heart was me being able to start to recognize how much disdain I had, and not specific to this connection, disdain for traffic and disdain for all these different things. And I remember I told you, I'm recognizing disdain as something I got to be able to start to work on. And these moments may have been annoying at first, but they started to show me that I I needed to work on that aspect of myself. But like you said, we have the tools. A lot of couples, before y'all go ahead and get that apartment together, get that house together, start talking about marriage. Start to investigate what y'all domestic styles are and how they match or they don't.
Yeah, because if you have starkly different domestic styles, then you may need to have a home that has very particular things. It may need to be a his and hers bathroom on each side of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes to the animals, like, you've had to adjust to the fact that I have 3 animals. So dog lovers or cat lovers are used to having hair in the house. Like, that's just a part of what comes with having an animal. But if you don't have animals, you have to adjust to that. And then you have to adjust to, well, how often is you getting up this hair? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing that can bother people. So I think, like you said, there does need to have these conversations do need to be had, so you don't have to figure it out in the moment. Y'all have already talked about it, and you have a game plan on how to, circumvent those issues not coming up.
And once y'all have that template in pocket and y'all continue to recalibrate that template, which we have had to do, of course, and we will continue to have to do, at that point, once you got your foundation and your rhythm, now it becomes, what's the highest level of love I can show in this moment? Like we've talked about when you broke the water and I came down and I helped you anyway. In those moments where annoyance or disdain may come up in the hair on the floor, bro, just vacuum. This is an opportunity to be of service to your wife, to the pets, to the household. This ain't a you thing. Like, your mom is, why wouldn't she do that? It done been fight, bro. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if it gets to the point where it's a recurrent issue, then the conversation can happen. But it's never anything that needs to be a flat out negative unless y'all don't have the tools, the openness, the willingness, the communication, and the context before y'all get into it. And we didn't have context, but we got a lot of tools with what we do in our life. People that don't, you probably gonna need the context going into the connection.
Yeah, I think that's the healthiest way to go.
I know we pretty much at where we are. I did want you to unpack. We'll save that.
What is it?
The aspect that you talked about when I said, why you going so hard on me in this moment, and all of the data that came out of that for you and how you've made adjustments to how we interact. You think we should say that for a different episode? Let's save that.
Okay.
We could really unpack that in a different episode, but I think that's really important for us to unpack on the podcast. Yep. Okay. So that's part 2. Eventually we'll double back as we continue to learn as a married couple. We'll revisit this topic, but for right now, part 1 and 2, I feel like will suffice. And you may be a single person who has engaged this content. You may not even be thinking about marriage. It could still help you and your relationships and people you may share this content with. It don't just got to be married couples that can appreciate this. So make sure y'all like, y'all comment, y'all subscribe, y'all spam the comment section, and y'all share with at least 3 people if you rock with what we do and y'all appreciate what we give to the world. Share this with at least 3 people that you feel like could resonate with it. Book out right now. Remember who the fuck you are. New book coming. What's the title?
Things I probably shouldn't say, but F it, I'm angry.
So get ready to put that on your Christmas list and your holiday list. Make those purchases. One-on-one clients you are accepting right now. I'm also accepting one-on-one clientele, family counseling, as well as relationship counseling.
Music.
Stop asking if me and my wife can counsel y'all together for your relationship. 1, she don't even do relationship counseling. She ain't got the patience for it. And 2, that's going to be a lot of money if you're trying to get both of us in the building. And we got different styles. So I handle the relationship counseling. I'm very good at what I do. My music is out. I got 4 singles out. My album is on the way. Yahweh. Yes, all wounds eventually heal. We've been rocking to it because I finally got the final product back.
It's so beautiful.
It's crazy. Y'all. It's one of them ones. So I look forward to sharing that with the world. If y'all want to come to visit us and rock out with us on tour with tonight's conversation, you can DM me or email me for tickets on that as well. We'll be across the country, 15 different cities. More than likely, we'll be somewhere near your neighborhood, so you can come out and rock with us on that. Schedule for retreats will be released this month, more than likely, if not next month. But y'all can start to figure out where y'all fit in with our retreat schedule for next year. And Sasha Flowers will be making a return. I just got the word on that from the boss lady.
I see my skin is
we both out here. We both out here glowing. So we will be going full throttle with getting that back to the public as well. That's our family business at this point. She decided to share that with me. and pulled me into the fold as far as Sasha Flowers being both of our stuff. So I'm excited about that as well. Look forward to that coming soon, y'all.
That's it.
All right. Deuces, love and light, peace and ease. Thank y'all.
Bye.
My nigga, everything is love, but that on anything I love. Yeah.
Peace, beloved.